a Budget Committee meeting to order. I'm Jan Burdick, Chairman, and we will start with a roll call, please.
Mrs. Burdick.
Here.
Mr. Barnes.
Present.
Mr. Curran.
Here.
Mr. Fanton. Mr. Ricky.
Here.
Mr. Rumfelt.
Here.
Mr. Stockin. And Mr. Harris. 6 present, 1 absent.
Thank you. And now we would like an approval of the minutes of December 21st, and I will take a motion for that, please.
Curran moves.
Rumfeld, second.
Any discussion or corrections? All in favor?
Aye.
Carried. And now I will ask County Treasurer Terry Ross to review the sales tax report from the end of last year and the new one for this year. Welcome, Terry.
Thank you. In your packets was the year-end sales tax for December 31st for the 2022 budget. So we ended the year, excuse me, with an increase of $1.6 million over where we ended last year. So we collected a total of $28,970,000 in change for 2022.
That's great news.
Yep, that's great news. Our net, after we took out the deductions for the beginning of the year for AIM, and there was one distressed hospital diversion, our net receipts were an increase of 5%.
Do you have the breakdown yet of where most of that came from?
I don't. We have a county treasurers meeting February 3rd. I'm assuming we'll get some of that, and plus we'll get some at NISAC.
Right, thank
Yeah,
you.
you're welcome.
All right, and then this year so far?
Yep, I handed out this year's payment that we've received so far this year, and that also was good news. We received approximately $313,000 more than what we did last year for this payment, although we will caution, as NISAC cautions, that you can't look at it until you look at the quarters, but that is a good start for the year.
Mr. Healy?
Yes, thank you. Treasurer Ross, could you refresh everybody's memory there about what the AIM deductions are for? Because we had discussion earlier about the different ways we help and support our local municipalities. That once upon a time that was state money that went to town and villages. Is that correct? And
Correct. We just had for about a year where they diverted our sales tax to pay the towns and villages. That sunsetted, and that is no longer the case. It is back to being state money.
okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
And that's the same, distressed hospitals is another mandate by the state but that's continues?
Nope, that is not continuing anymore either. That sunsetted as well, and we don't have to do the distressed hospital fund.
So that's a good thing too?
Yep.
Okay.
Correct, unless they change something, but right now that's
Next
gone
year.
by the wayside. Yep.
Does anybody else have any questions for Terry on the sales tax? Mr. Harris?
Thanks. You know what would be good to have on this, not to add
Sure.
another column, but it would be interesting to see if we ever do an adjustment to the budgeted sales tax amount, if it got inserted into whatever week where it would fall among our sales tax receipts. Like I know last year we made one adjustment, right?
Correct.
But I don't remember how much it was for or where.
$750,000.
And do you remember what month it was in?
I don't.
Yeah. I mean, that would kind of be
Yep.
interesting. Another thing that would be interesting would be if we took our budgeted amount and we indicated, say, bi-weekly, what percentage of our budgeted amount we're at. So in other words,
I
after
think that's on there.
where is that?
I think if you look at, well, it doesn't show the percentage, I guess. Some kind of it does. If you look down there on budget 2023 A1110 on the left-hand side in the orange column, you'll see where our budget is for 23 was $25,500,000. We've received, the 906. So right now we still have 96% of the budget to collect.
Okay.
So we've got 4% in so far.
Is that what you look at when you determine whether or not to come to the board with a request to amend the budget?
I think last year when we did amend the was it last year we did it, 2022 or 2021? When we amended it by the $750,000, that was a request you were looking for some money to put somewhere. So we felt like we could take a bump in sales tax and allocate that instead of changing anything else in our budget.
Was it to slide money into contingency, maybe?
It might have been, I really just can't remember off the top of my head.
Okay,
I'll look it up though.
thanks.
The state doesn't close their books till the end of March also.
Correct. They don't, we won't get a final, their calendar year runs differently than ours, or their
Right,
fiscal
so-
year runs different.
And that's when we balance our books.
We balance our books at December 31st, and we have a report that's due to the state by April, the end of April. But ours is for our calendar year from January to December, not the state fiscal year, which is.
But we don't
April
know the
1st,
full
March
picture
31st.
until after the March, right?
We won't know our full picture right till after March. Correct.
Any other questions for Terry? All right, then we will move on. Terry's prepared for us our ARPA money that we've committed to projects so far and some that are being looked at. So if you want to look at that, and then if you have any questions for Terry, and Terry, go ahead.
Yep, what I did was I handed out a paper copy too, because there was just a couple word tweaks that I did before, after I sent it for the agenda. But what this is actually every program project that you have approved so far with a list of when it went to committee, when it was approved by board, by resolution. There was one that I have not put the resolution on yet, then that was the purchase of the shared equipment with Soil and Water. So I don't have the resolution listed on there yet. But that's what you've allocated. Does not mean that you've spent it, but that is what you've allocated from your ARP money so far this year. So that's, or since we got it. The total is $2.928 million that you've allocated, which leaves you a balance of a little over $6 million to allocate to projects. Mind you, the allocations have to happen by December of 2024 and have to be spent by 2026. December of 2026. So there is still time, but we have a lot of projects on the books. After the line is just a few things that have been discussed. That does not include the entire list that we've gone over since we got the money. That's obviously a massive list that has all the suggestions that we've had. But these listed at the bottom are just things that have been recently picked up that we probably will be moving forward with. I guess the board will be moving forward with that. As far as the fair will be discussed, and the Board of Election Machines, we've kind of brought that up, and Brent has additional information on that. And the beach renovations, obviously, if you're going to do something, you're going to want to do something for the budget, so that can get going before opening. And the town award was based on the conversation last week with the letter from Jim Lucy, Supervisor Town Award. So that's what we have right now.
And Terry, I think there's a couple other things on there as well. The board's authorized us to go out for RFPs for a couple of other studies. Some of them we've started to get quotes come back, and you could be spending another $250,000 on some of these studies that we've gone out for RFPs on. We haven't committed anything yet, but that's kind of where that's looking. And you got the fair in there, and
Right. The fair has an updated
Yeah.
dollar amount, which is 500, actually it's higher than that. I think it's $567,000 was the last number I saw. So that $350,000, their detailed request is now like 567.
so I think the everything above the line, you just need to add the one resolution for soil and water, and things below the line will have some updates as we start to get some quotes back on other things the board's already asked us to look at.
Yes, say again that date that we have to have everything allocated.
You have to have everything allocated by December 31st, 2024. So the
So-
whole $8.9 million needs to be spent or allocated for some project.
We have
Then you have 2 more years to spend it all.
all of this year and
All of
all of
next.
next year.
Correct.
But we don't want to be last minute either, so.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Anybody else have any questions? Mr. Harris? Okay. Thank you, Terry.
You are welcome.
This addresses what we talked about this morning about the ARPA funding, so I hope, that helps everybody out a little bit. Thanks for putting that together, Terry. Old business. New business? Go to the order? I will ask for a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion.
Support.
Mr. Barnes? All in favor?
Aye.
Carried. Thank you.